What can I say? Many are called, some even call themselves, but few are chosen when it comes to understanding Jeet Kune Do. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, Jeet Kune Do Rebel. Welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 332. This is the one about Bruce Lee and his constant researching. As you're logging in, if you'd be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. If you're catching the simulcast over on the YouTube, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as well. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share this video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcasts. So there's a little thing about Jeet Kune Do that is really confounding, right? See, sometimes this is what it boils down to. How close to the source are or were you? And if you're dependent on someone else's proximity for your information, can you trust it? So take Brandon Lee, for example. Okay, let's do this.
I remember he always used to say that you want to try and absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is essentially your own, you know.
Okay, you want me to play it again for you?
That you want to try and absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is essentially your own, you know. I remember he always...
So that is none other than Brandon Lee, the son of the founder of Jeet Kune Do. So he's not referring to Dan Inosanto in that clip. He is referring to his father. And he says what? I remember he always used to say, meaning his father, Bruce Lee, always used to say, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add essentially what is your own. How much more proximity can you get than the son of the founder? Okay, so if Brandon Lee himself is saying that Bruce Lee always used to say absorb what is useful, then we can't really dispute the reality of it, right? Because we have the guy on video saying it right there. So it's indisputable, except that it is, because it's not true, right? And we know that. So my point is, you got to be very, very careful going around declaring that you know what you know, and it's so obvious because there it is on video or there it is in print. So that's a problem. Chris Kent, in his book, I keep doing that and I shouldn't do that. It's a Chris Kent and Tim Tackett book. I'm sorry, right? Chris Kent and Tim Tackett, in their book, Jeet Kune Do Kickboxing, there's a passage where it says, it refers to Jeet Kune Do as this animal, right? And it says, like any formidable opponent, the animal must become known before it can be challenged with any surety of success. To know it, you must study and observe it, not for weeks or months, but every day for years. Even with knowledge and training, more is required. Maturity and deep comprehension of combative principles are necessary. If you guys don't have that book, I suggest that you get it. It's been updated. It's available on the Amazon and all that kind of good stuff. But just that passage, you really have to delve into this Jeet Kune Do animal over a long period of time to really come up with a mature level of understanding. Okay, so to get to the words used in today's title, when you hear the words, Bruce Lee was constantly researching, you might be inclined to romanticize that. And, you know, you create this image of Bruce Lee with his head constantly in many books, right? On many different martial arts. So you see Bruce Lee developing the steps of research, right? So you have like a research plan, and then you gather your sources, and then you're taking notes, and you're analyzing your findings, and then you're reviewing and you're revising and what have you. Is that what you see when you hear this phrase, Bruce Lee was constantly researching? Because my question to you would be what? So as a result, see, okay, two things. One, taking this literally is where you get people talking about how there's 26 different arts that Bruce Lee researched in order to come up with Jeet Kune. Nonsense. But the phrase Bruce Lee was constantly researching could give rise to that type of belief. A mature level of understanding, like Chris and Tackett just said in their book, the statement is a way of conveying the idea that Bruce Lee had an open mind when it came to looking at different martial arts. And so that's why you've heard Dan Inosanto say it. You've heard, it's reported to me that Tim Tackett has said it, and that it's also can be found on the pages of the Lee family website. But what do we know? Brandon Lee said that Bruce Lee always used to say, absorb what is useful. Now, you know that Brandon Lee was 8 years old when his father died, right? So maybe it's just a phrase that was oft repeated, and so you adopted it because it can be used when you tell your stories. So Bruce Lee was constantly researching. It makes sense, but there's a level of understanding dependent on who it is. And I'll tell you one last thing. I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will. I wasn't going to mention this one. So if a guy says, and I'll paraphrase it because I don't remember, I don't have it in front of me. But if a guy says, well, I did a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of the next thing. And when it came to Bruce Lee's philosophies and what have you, I didn't really care that much about it because what was important for me was what worked. Now, if a guy says that and I hear it, I'll go, well, that's not a guy that is deeply vested in Jeet Kune Do. That's just a guy who's interested in what works. But when it's revealed to me that it is actually a Jeet Kune Do guy, those same words take on a completely different meaning, especially if I know the guy and I know how he speaks. So I know what point he is making. So I change my mind and my opinion on those words because now I know what the source is, because I have a deeper understanding of why he said it, because I know who it is that said it. So now I get it because the context has been explained to me. This is what is lacking with a lot of you so-called, you self-appointed Jeet Kune Do experts out there. You do not know the context, and you're not even capable of imagining what the context might be. Okay, so Bruce Lee was constantly researching. What was the end result of all this constant research? If Bruce Lee was constantly researching many different martial arts, wouldn't there be evidence of a multitude of martial arts influencing him? I will leave you right with that for you guys to chew on that and perhaps even answer in the comments. No, let's do one more. Okay. My position is do not take every bloody thing so literally. You got to learn to interpret, right? There's a difference between translation and interpretation, and you got to learn the difference. Famous Bruce Lee quote, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Who takes that literally? Where are these 10,000 kicks? There are 10,000 different kicks in martial art. So obviously, Bruce Lee is not being literal. It was said to make a point. So even if it appears in print somewhere, even if there's a video clip of Bruce Lee saying it, if many people have repeated this quote, hopefully there's nobody out there thinking that Bruce Lee meant this word for word. Get that through your thick skulls. So let me know what you think. You guys pretty much know where I'm at on this, right? Let me know in the comments below. That is all I have to say about this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, subscribe, and hit the notification bell over on the YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. At paypal.me, the Jeet Kune Journey Volume 1 is available, raw but edited version. paypal.me/unified Miami. You can also support the show over at jkdrebel.com. Click on the Rebel Gear link, and that's where you'll see stuff like this. The UMAA, official UMAA Kali JKD t-shirt, also available, I think, a coffee mug, hoodie, long sleeve t-shirt, sweatshirt, all that good stuff. And events that are coming up. So in literally 1 month, the Miami TCF System Seminar with my good friend G. Anthony and Mrs. Joseph. Go to Facebook, go to my page and then click on my events. I think that's where you find it. Or if not, if you can remember this, TCF, the System Seminar in Miami. That's actually a clickable link. So if you search Facebook, TCF, the System Seminar in Miami, that will take you to the event page. All the information is there. Also, events coming up in Miami, not for a few months. Titans of JKD 4, which is next month, February 1st and 2nd. You can go to titansofjkd.com and the advance information is there for that one as well. If you were around for last week's episode of the Jeet Kune Dialogues, you were all introduced to an old-time colleague of mine, Don Garin, who was actually on my list of people 6 years ago when I started the Jeet Kune Dialogues, but I guess I never got a hold of him. Anyhow, Don will be coming back by himself on Friday at 6 p.m. for the next episode of the Jeet Kune Dialogue. So you guys feel free to slot in on that one. And with that, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Rebel, signing off. Today is a Green Day, not that band. I don't listen to that kind of music. Right? You guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll talk soon. Take care.